Yeah. Hi all, the newcomer session will start very soon. So for those who will not be participating, please melt the room. For anyone who's sitting in the chairs, please move to the table because we have plenty of space. Okay, okay. Anyone else who wants to join us at the table? Thank you. It's such a small group here today, so don't need to be worried about, you're speaking up and all that. So I'll first let them kind of like talk about like who they are, what organization, and then. Hi all, thank you so much for coming here today. It's a newcomer track. We still see people all the way in the back. We're not monsters, so if in the future you can move kind of upwards. So we've got some comments from yesterday on the newcomer track. So today we'll start with an introduction of everyone who's around the table. So we will have that first, and then we'll move to the government and IGOs to understand Lee as well as Christina here, understand what their roles is in their respective organization, what are the roles, what are the things that they care about in IGF, and how can we engage with them, and then we'll open up to Q&A. Okay, so we have to start from this side. Can you just kind of tell everyone who you are, what organization you represent? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kanan. I come all the way from the South Pacific island of Kiribati. This is my first time in IGF. I am attending as a youth fellow. Thank you.
Oh, hi, I'm Jimmy, and I'm from Hong Kong. I'm a year 8 student. And it's my first time to come to this IGF, and, well,
Hello, I'm Elvin, and I'm from Hong Kong, China. I'm a year 8 student, and it is also my first time to come to IGF.
Hi, I'm Mamutokwani Tladi from Lesotho. It's my first time at IGF.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm actually a very old comer of IGF, and these three are my youth engagements classes students, and I hope them have fun here.
Hello, I'm Natalie Cho from Hong Kong. I'm a year 10 student. This is also my first time to attend IGF.
Hello, this is Carla Reyes. I'm a law professor at Stetson University College of Law in Gulfport, Florida. I'm here in my capacity as a representative of the Dynamic Coalition on Blockchain Technologies with Koala.
Hi, here's Derek. It's my first time to come here. I'm a member of Lions Club in Hong Kong. We come here because we sponsored some students in Hong Kong, and we want to promote the youth participation on the IGF. And nice to see you guys.
Well, hello, my name is Alexandra Arguelles. This is my first time at IGF, and I'm from ISOC, so yeah.
Hello, Raymond from Mission Ambassador Hong Kong, and first year too. I come to learn, thanks.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Anya. I work for the IGF Secretariat. I emailed you a lot probably. Me and Bianca, we started this Newcomers Track, kind of stemming from our own experience that when you come for the first time to the IGF, you're so confused, and I think this is important to understand the IGF processes. I'm so thankful to Christina and Lee. I know we have 2 persons here, but it's like 10 persons are sitting in front of you because they are with the IGF from the beginning. And if you have any questions, please use our mailing list, which I think is a good source for communication. And you can always stop Lee and Christina, now you know their faces whenever they see them at the venue. Sorry.
Hi, my name's Erin. I'm from Canada and I work for IFEX. We're a network of free expression organizations, and it's my first time as my colleague.
Hi, I'm also working for IFEX. I'm the head of campaigns and advocacy, and my name is Heather Orange. My first time here. A lot of our members, which number over 100 globally, are working on digital issues, so it's a good opportunity for me to come and have a better understanding of what it is that they're working on and the issues they're facing.
Good afternoon, my name is Sebastian. I'm the International Relations Support Manager at URID, the Registry for the .eu domain names. I'm here because we presented a session on internationalized domain names and enhancing linguistic and cultural diversity online. While my organization has been here a lot, this is my first time attending an IGF.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Jojo from Hong Kong. This time it's my first time to camp because we are sponsor the youth projects from our Lions Club. So this is our championships winner.
Hi, José Mendoza de Venezuela, member Fundación Acceso Libre, my face IGF.
Hello everyone. My name is Marie-Noémie and it's my first time, and I work for a telecom company, Orange.
Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Macias and I'm from Mexico. This is my first IGF, and I'm also involved in the local initiative of Mexico. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for everyone who made the introduction. I know it might be a little intimidating at first, but hopefully by day 4 you'll be very, very used to it. So as you know, in Internet Governance Forum, there are a lot of stakeholders here. There's like private sector, there's civil society, there's students, there's academia, and all different. So today we'll focus particularly on meeting government and IGOs. Lee, he is from Council of Europe, and he's the Internet Governance Coordinator on the right. And then Christina here, she's the head of sector for Internet Governance and Stakeholders Engagement at European Commission. So we'll have them speak briefly about what they do, why they want to come, why they are here at IGF, what they care about, and then we'll open up the floor. So Lee, please go ahead. Thank you.
Shall I do that? Do you want to do that, or shall I? Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's Lee. I am, as Bianca has said, I live in France, in Strasbourg, and I work for the Council of Europe, which is an intergovernmental organization with 47 countries in its membership. You may know, some of you may know that in Europe there is a European Court of Human Rights, which is based upon the European Convention on Human Rights, which is a legally binding instrument which basically compels those countries to ensure that they protect the rights of every individual in their countries. So it's a legal mechanism, a form of redress, which you don't always find elsewhere. which allows people, individuals, to take cases to court against countries if they don't do or they don't protect the human rights of those people. Those human rights can be the right to freedom of expression, if there's interference, or the right to privacy, or the right not to be discriminated against, and many other rights besides. And so that means that I'm here to try to ensure that the internet, at least from a European perspective, has a human rights dimension to it, which means that as we move forward with the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, that there is a human element, because the Internet is built upon people, and people need to be respected. And there's dignity, and there's integrity, and there's non-discrimination, and there's democracy. And these issues might seem very abstract, but as the Internet runs faster and technological change, the pace becomes ever faster. As companies move forward, it's very important that countries, governments, understand how to protect people's rights and to make sure they evolve in the right way, so that, as you know, in what we do, how we communicate, that we don't lose sight that the internet is about people, and that we should have that respect for integrity, individual integrity, the right to choose. Really choose what we do, self-determination, etc. So it's an ongoing thing, and that's my role. So I look at the human rights, the rule of law issues, and also democracy issues. So I want you to really take home the idea that the internet is also a form of democracy. It's bringing the whole picture together. It's our lives online, more and more the case. And it becomes very difficult to make it distinct from our offline lives. And so it's very important that we ensure that as we go forward, we don't lose sight of the people. Now, I'm going to pass to Christina. And Christina works for the European Commission, which is not the Council of Europe. And she'll tell you why. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Lee. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina, and this is for me my 5th IGF and the 3rd in my current role. So in a way, I feel still a newcomer because you never stop learning from the IGF. So it's such an enriching experience, and I think it's also a matter a simple reflection of the fact that the internet as an innovation and as a technology keeps evolving. So there are always new issues, new topics. So in a way, we're always newcomers at the IGF. As Lee was saying, yes, I work for the European Commission, which is different from the Council of Europe. The European Commission is one of the institutions that forms the European Union. The European Union comprises 28 member states, yeah, so we are a different organization. We are a sovereign national organization, so we have a European Parliament that, together with the Council, that brings together the ministries of all the different member states, make legislation. So in that sense, we are really different animals, if I can use that expression. But what makes us united is the respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, which are embedded in our own treaties. So this is part of our DNA. In terms of internet governance, of course, what we strive to do is to make sure that all the European Union member states come to international fora and speak with a common voice, and also promote a vision of the internet and of its governance, which is based on certain values like fundamental principles and human rights. We also believe that the internet is a resource for the global community, which should be kept as a global internet, unfragmented internet, while we see that there are other visions in other parts of the world which have a different perspective. And there are maybe some authoritarian regimes that would like to close the internet, and we don't want that. We want to promote an open internet because we think that this brings the most benefit to the citizens, but also to the business world. The internet is an amazing technology also to create innovation, jobs, and new opportunities. So there is also that aspect. And in terms of the way the internet should be governed, also for the future, we believe that all players what we say, we use a lot here in this context, stakeholders should have a voice. And this is what we call the multi-stakeholder approach. I don't know if you already came across this word because it's very much used here at the IGF, and actually the IGF is the embodiment of this concept. It is a space where stakeholders from technical community, from governments, from individual users, who am I forgetting, from civil society, they come together, they exchange ideas and opinions, and this is very important, to have this space for debate and for discussion. Maybe just for you also, as you are newcomers, many say that the IGF is a place where you come, you discuss, and nothing happens. From our point of view, the IGF instead is really very valuable because it's the place where you start the discussions. Maybe then there will be a follow-up somewhere else, but the discussions originates here. This is not the place to end discussions, but to start new discussions. And that is why also, for instance, the European Commission is also a donor to the IGF. The IGF Secretariat is managed by donations. And we are a supporter, yes, and yeah, I think that this also shows our commitment for the IGF.
Great, thank you. Is there, you know, for all the people over here, you know, what are the things that they can engage with you? You know, what are the resources that you can provide, or what are the things that you need from them? I just wanted to, like, for example, if you have a lot of like training on like human rights or like, you know, yeah, I just wanted to know kind of what are the areas that they can engage with you?
Go ahead.
Good question. So I think what's really trending now regarding internet is that many people don't know really what happens. They don't get it. They don't, you know, the understanding of clicking yes, I accept terms and conditions of service, which are 50 pages long, is not understood. You know, the questions of network neutrality, which are technical, and all the issues you read in the newspapers or online, you know, these issues are not easy to grasp if you're not in the fields. So there's a need to build capacity. So people, I mean, I'm talking about the judges in the countries that we live in, the prosecutors that deal with the, you know, the cases, even the civil society activists, and the governments, the people that actually deal with the policy in countries. It's not, yeah, I mean, you don't assume that they all understand what's being discussed here. So building capacity is key, and the Internet Governance Forum is a place where you can build capacity. There's lots and lots of national Internet Governance Forums have grown over the years. I think there's over 60 or more across the world. There's over, I think there's something in the region of 30 national Internet Governance Forum spaces in Europe, in that wider Europe of 47 countries. And they're organized because people want to organize them. So they're multi-stakeholder, they bring people together, they try to understand the issues, why are these things happening, what can I do, how can I get involved. You're here because you want to get involved. So it's all about participation, participation, participation. The key is to understand is that, you know, Council of Europe, for example, in the fields of human rights, rule of law, democracy, about, you know, the things which touch people's lives, really. We build capacity, we organize events, training sessions for different people, different parts of society on the issues, taking the human rights integrity dimension forward. So that's something we do. In terms of influencing policy in a country, we also work with governments. So, you know, that's something else which is important. As you know, if there are draft bills in your country, draft legislation, you know, that legislation can come to this organization I work for, and we can give opinions, and we can make sure that these things, human rights, are reflected, hopefully, in those draft legislations. So it's a way to positively influence how government thinks. It's a way to encourage people to understand in their roles, because we all work in silos. We all work, everybody works in a silo, here, 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 here. But the internet, by its very nature, it goes across the borders. And we're only really going to be able to deal with the internet if we go across our own borders. And I think that's the big challenge, really, is to be able to talk to each other, because every challenge, every problem on the internet, you can't solve in one silo here in the government ministry that you have in your country. It won't work, I don't think. You know, cybersecurity is a shared approach. It involves companies, it involves user rights protection, it involves governments, it involves technical people who deal with the issues too. So only by talking to each other can you really help, you know, let's say, reinforce cybersecurity. So there's a need to come together, and I think that's what we can provide, is we can try to bring those actors together. So if you need, and I guess that's the same for the Commission, if you need to address an issue, we could probably help navigate to who should be, which actors are important, and perhaps who should be at the table, and which issues are needed to really be addressed. So I guess we can help focus the debate and point you to the right people. I think that's where we can help.
Maybe. I absolutely agree with Lee, of course. I think that national IGFs are really important, especially for, you know, people who cannot travel every year to the global IGF happening very far away. We don't know where it will be in the future. So national IGFs are a very good place to start with. And in terms of capacity building, I would like to mention that the European Commission is creating a website, a tool, which is called the Global Internet Policy Observatory, and is a place where you can find a lot of information concerning internet governance. It's a tool still under development, but it's already quite advanced. I don't have here the link, but if you go on jaiponet.org, from there you can access the actual tool. And I think that's also a possibility for you to know more and navigate into the many issues affected by internet governance. And maybe I could suggest you to either, you know, subscribe to the newsletter and follow on Twitter the information provided by the Global Internet Policy Observatory. There are also other tools like the Geneva Internet Platform, which, for instance, I think is an extremely useful tool in terms of capacity building and education. So yes, this, I think it's a concrete suggestion that might be useful for you. But also, if I may, I also would be interested to know from you what, I mean, you've been here for a couple of days, I imagine. What are the challenges? What is difficult for you? What are your questions? That would be interesting for me to know.
Anyone?
Any questions?
Any questions?
Maybe these kids are too quiet, too shy, but so let me get started, and I will appoint them to answer the questions. This has been a great tool for us to come all the way from Hong Kong to here. And in Hong Kong, probably more than 99% of people use the internet. But probably only less than 1% of people knowing there is an IGF. So there is a good idea that we can start first, the national IGF. How that will work in, let's say, Hong Kong or in China?
I can comment on that. So if you, Hong Kong, there's a youth IGF that's already here. For Hong Kong as a city, Hong Kong is part of the Asia-Pacific region, and we've previously hosted Asia-Pacific IGF. If you wanted to have your own, you can speak to NRIs, which is National and Regional Internet Governance Forums, and I think they have better resources to tell you. I can give you the contact later on how to organize one IGF, but right now it's quite grassroots, so everyone can just say, oh, I want to organize one, and start looking for venues, start looking for speakers, and start developing the agenda.
I have a question about sort of interdisciplinary discussion. So I'm a lawyer by training. I'm and now a legal academic, fairly new legal academic, but an academic nonetheless. And many of the discussions I've gone to the last day and a half about, say, jurisdiction or like law enforcement and cyberspace, From my perspective, as a legal academic focusing on those issues, some of the topics have been discussed for many years on my side of the fence, right? But it sounds like it's new on this side of the fence. So how would you encourage sort of interdisciplinary dialogue so that the discussion doesn't go around and around when some of the things have already been thought through just on, like, from a different discipline? Like, are there organizations here that are more interested in interdisciplinary dialogue that I should seek out, or is it just a matter of participating in those discussions and having my side of the fence heard?
A quick reaction on that. So I understand you're interested on jurisdictional issues and legal aspects, correct?
Yes, so I'm actually here for blockchain technology, but that's only happening really tomorrow. So, in the interim, I've been going to sessions on jurisdiction and other legal aspects because that's what my interest is. And so far, the discussion I've heard resembles very closely discussions that have already happened, but with only a legal perspective in mind, right? Like only on my side of the fence. And now it's happening on a technical side. And my question is, are there organizations that I should focus on or reach out to, or people I should reach out to that are bridging the gap in particular? Or do I just talk in those technical discussions and try to bring my perspective to bear?
If I can just start, maybe you have more ideas, but of course here at the IGF there is a great opportunity for networking and for meeting new people and new organizations. And in a way, what I was saying before, that this is the place where conversation starts. It's a matter of finding here the right people you want to talk to. In the meantime, if you are also able to share your knowledge with others who have different perspectives, I think this helps a lot because, for instance, technical community developing, I don't know, a new IP standard maybe has not in mind some legal implications of what he's doing. So this dialogue is very important to share knowledge and perspective. But of course, if you're interested in a specific aspect, there are some organizations that are more relevant for you to talk with, including us as a representative of intergovernmental organizations. But also, I'm thinking about the Internet and Jurisdiction project, and you should also find in the program the right sessions for you, and then get in touch with the people and talk to them bilaterally. So this is the great opportunity to meet the people here. Once you have the contact, then you can continue the conversation later. Yeah.
This is a good question, because this is why we're here, because it's actually really difficult to get everybody that you need to get together in one room and do this. You know, it sounds very efficient, but it's very difficult. And it's a lot of work, a lot of repetition and discussion, and it's exhausting sometimes, I would say. And you don't sometimes see the end of the tunnel. I'm thinking of the organization called ICANN, for example, which meets regularly and talks about issues and issues and issues, and there's process and procedure and procedure. It's quite boring, I would say. Please excuse ICANN colleagues. It's quite, it's quite technical. It's hard sometimes to grasp. It's just not easy. It's just repetition, and I think you need to have a lot of courage. There's no silver bullet. That's why we're only just this is nascent. The internet is nascent, and working across silos is nascent. So we really have to do something. If you want to go further, you need to start with a core group of different actors. You need a trusted actor, someone that's recognized, who has credibility, I think. You need individuals in and around, like a cloud of supporters who can help. You need, perhaps, it depends, you need maybe the ear of the government, or individuals in a government, which can maybe help orient your thoughts. But it's not one size fits all, and it will take time. But that's why I'm saying we can help maybe point you in the right direction and identify the actors. And maybe we can even help to organize with IGF Secretariat a meeting between those actors in time to come and get them there and get it going. But you need a lot of goodwill. You need the ear of certain actors, because if they're not there, I mean, you know, if you're talking about copyright and you want to change copyright, you can't really do that without WIPO in the room, really. You know, I don't know whether it's useful to have a discussion between a single stakeholder group who are complaining about a problem if the problem is linked to an organization or a sector or a stakeholder group which is not there. I would say don't organize. I mean, organize it to prepare, but if you want to change things, then, you know, I think that's where the Internet Governance Forum is helpful, because it's, you know, we're sitting here, we have no nameplates, we're not really affiliated, we're not saying, you know, I'm representing an organization, I have a particular mandate, I'm talking about this. We're all talking, you know, quite in a flat way. And if you like, the Internet Governance Forum is unique because it gives everybody the same legitimacy to speak. So we can all speak on equal footing. That's what's really unique about this place. If you go back to your country, you might not even get your foot in the door in a meeting because you don't have a nameplate and a title to go and talk. So this is a really big lever for you. And if you can understand the value of this place here and the people, you can leave it. I mean, I come here, if I was to send emails to people, that some of the important people I know here, they may not reply to me, but I might bump into them over the coffee, and they may then come to the session. And you know, you've achieved more in a 5-minute thing than you would ever achieve back home, according to normal channels. So really, it's very unique, underestimated, and you can just simply register. You don't have to pay. You just come. Okay, it's the question is of money traveling and staying here. That's an issue, but it does travel around the world. But you can connect remotely. But it really is a place where you can do a lot more. I wouldn't say the words lobbying, but connecting, doing things, being active. So really it's a place of action if you know how to use it. So it's knowing how to use it. And that's what we're doing here. So I can't, in a 5-minute thing, I cannot say to you how to use it. But we can talk, and we can have other meetings like this. We can have conference calls, and we can come together with Bianca and others, and we can really try to orient what to do. And I think that's what's possible.
Great. We have time for one last question.
In response to how you were discussed, but without doing something. So without the commitment of the governments or some companies from Facebook or Google, so how can you ensure that the discussions is effective and it's used in the world, but without commissions, just discussions?
That's a really good question, because you know, we all commit to coming here and talking, but no one's obliging us to come here and talk. You know, companies, if you're talking about companies, they don't have to come here. They can just stay at home, really. We can all stay at home. So it's a question of wanting to come and to share. And so that's what's key. You know, I work in Europe, and we've just only now started a conversation with Google, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, and many other companies at a small level about how, you know, we can connect the governments and the companies to talk more regularly about the problems. Because, you know, in terms of, I mean, companies don't sign treaties, conventions. We agree, we commit to respecting human rights in our business models and in our terms of service. No, they don't sign those. There's no signing anything like that. So it's a question of wanting to come to the table. It's a question of reputation. And once again, we can get them here to talk about those issues. But it's not obvious. It's not easy, especially back home. So once again, this is the place where you can grab them and put people together. I hope that answers your question.
Just to complement maybe what Lee is saying is that, of course, companies do what they are supposed to do. They do business. And governments have to make sure that the rule of law is respected, that democracy is respected, and that citizens are protected. So at the same time, companies create innovation, new services, new products that go to the benefit of the final user. So there are sometimes issues and problems that need to be rebalanced, and so that everybody is in a good situation. Of course, we live in a complex world. I mean, I don't want to say that everything is perfect, and there are very strong economic interests in the internet ecosystem in general, but there are also very strong political interests, so it's complex. But that's why it's important for us to be here and to also defend and promote our vision of respect of human rights and fundamental freedom. So it's not easy, but we are there precisely for that. And of course, for instance, if I can talk about the European Union, we, for instance, had we are creating new rules for protecting the privacy of the citizens. It's a very complex process, but we discussed also using the IGF, and then we take home and then we continue that conversation. Net neutrality rules. We just had in Europe a law which is now valid for all member states, which is a law on the open internet. And this law prevents that internet services providers block or slow down the access to the internet due to commercial considerations, for instance. So these are practical examples of things that do happen, but all the dialogue that is required before also has to take place. So.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, so thank you so much, Lee and Christina. I would like to give a big hand to everyone who's here today. Tomorrow there'll be another session. Let me check. But it'll be another Knowledge Cafe here at the same time, same room. So if you're interested to meet other stakeholders, tomorrow is the civil society, then you can come. But here again, thank you so much, Christina, Lee, addressing these really difficult questions, but inevitably would have in the first time. Thank you.
Thank you.